This is V with C News, and it is a beautiful day today. I am here in Northampton, Massachusetts with Dave LaFlamme, who actually coined that term when he founded his band in 1967. Dave, it's a great pleasure and honor to have you here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. And
I'm loving it. It's
tell me about this Summer of Love tour that you're on right now.
Summer of Love tour that I'm on. Well, for me, it all sort of makes sense that I'm here. Although Linda and I were sort of invited to come on this tour kind of at the last minute, but it makes kind of sense because It's a Beautiful Day would be celebrating its 40th anniversary.
That's fantastic.
And the songs that we played this afternoon here at the festival are songs that we wrote in 1967.
Mm-hmm.
So we wrote White Bird in 1967, and so, you know, it just happens to be a year that our band and many of the original members are still performing with us. Our band is celebrating its 40th anniversary.
That's fantastic.
So that's how it all works for me. You know, in 1967, I spent most of that year rehearsing, writing new songs. And going to a lot of events like the Human Being and stuff like that, you know. So I was very involved in the community and very involved in the whole music scene.
That's wonderful.
That's how I remember 67. I only remember the musical parts and that part of it, because that's really what I was just totally engrossed in at that time.
How did you get started playing the violin or the fiddle, whatever you want to call it?
Actually, Connecticut plays an important part in my life.
Tell me.
Because I had an aunt, I was born in New Britain.
Okay.
And we lived for a few years. My parents were very poor. My father was an immigrant, hence the LaFlamme name, or LaFlamme.
Okay, LaFlamme, yeah.
And spoke very little English. I met my mother, they fell in love. I was the firstborn out of 6 children.
Wow.
And we lived with her brother and his wife in Connecticut. And during that time that we lived there, I guess from the very get-go, I was a very musical little boy. And I loved to sing and dance and bang around on the piano and just that kind of kid. And we moved out to Los Angeles, actually, when my father found work out there, and we moved out there. And shortly after that, she discovered that one of her children had played the violin for a very short time. And she discovered in the house there a little tiny violin. And she said, the story goes, she said that when she opened the case, saw the little violin in there, she said, immediately I thought of David, because I know how he loved music. So she put it in a box and sent it to me as a gift.
That's
great. That's when I was 6 years old.
Wow.
And so I received that as a gift from her when I was 6, and my mother took it out of the box, and down the street from where we lived, there was a piano teacher. We went over there, and the piano teacher sent us to my mother to a place where they could get it functional and put some new strings on it and everything, and I started playing it immediately.
It's wonderful.
And according to my mother, I played it fairly well right off the bat.
Great. So were you self-taught?
Well, I was the first year. I was self-taught the first year, and then my parents asked me if I would be interested in seriously studying the instrument and teach with a teacher and all that, and I said absolutely. I really like to learn to play this thing.
That's great.
And so when I was 7, I was really on my way.
Wonderful. Anything else you want to say about this first aid tour, or raising money for the veterans, or veterans benefits, helping the veterans?
You know, I wish there was more than I could do. I'm sort of here as a veteran myself.
You are?
Well, I was in the Army, so I come from a very military background. My grandfather was a light colonel. I had several other military people in my family, so we've always had a great appreciation for the military.
Sure.
We're not, you know, obviously I'm not exactly military material at the moment, but when I was a young man, I carried my M1 very proudly and was ready to do my duty to defend my country and so on. And I actually came very, very close to the invasion of Cuba. I was sitting on my duffel bag in an airplane hangar in Miami
Wow.
for a week
Wow.
while they were deciding whether to invade Cuba. Fortunately, we didn't.
Right.
But that's as close as I got to combat, fortunately.
Well, I'm glad about that, because then we wouldn't have such wonderful fiddling and violin and music that you make. This is V with C News. I will see you later, and thank you so much to Dave LaFlamme for being with us today.
My pleasure.
See you later on C News.